Your success and happiness lies in you. Resolve to keep happy and your joy and you shall form an invincible host against difficulties. A quote from American author Helen Keller, who was both deaf and blind. Hello, I'm Audrey Williams. As we welcome 2014, let us embrace the new year with a renewed and positive attitude. This is Jamaica Magazine and you are in for a treat. Coming up, technologies that monitor the environment and allow us to make conscious decisions for safe health. Plus, playing our part to achieve Vision 2030. Stay with us. The show gets off to a start with the news right after this message.
In 2013, the government focused on finding ways to reduce the cost of electricity for Jamaicans, even as it brought more rural communities into the light and into the information age, and pursued prime projects for growth.
We have tremendous hope for the realization of a fully commercialized project.
Looking back at the Ministry of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining. Watch the review Thursday, January 16 on Jamaica Magazine.
Good day, I'm Carrie-Ann Smith and this is your JIS News for Thursday, January 2. As Jamaicans look forward to the remainder of the new year, the nation's leaders have called for a unified approach in tackling the challenges facing the country. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller called for understanding as the government continues the economic reform program in a bid to grow the economy. Jamaicans were also urged to join the fight against crime.
The government has been doing its part and will redouble its efforts in 2014 to work toward a safe and secure Jamaica. We hope to pass what has been dubbed the anti-gang legislation in the first quarter of this calendar year, as well as the important DNA legislation.
In the meantime, Governor General Sir Patrick Allen encouraged persons to seize upcoming opportunities.
Opportunities to do our part to build peace and security. Opportunities to help restore the values of honesty, forgiveness, good neighborliness, respect for self and for each other. Opportunities to protect our children and help those who are in need.
Opposition leader Andrew Holness asked Jamaicans to leverage the opportunities in the creative industries.
We have had proud moments in sports, entertainment and culture. We must continue to build on these areas of strength and capitalize on the international brand value of Jamaica as a land of talent.
Government has introduced an employment tax credit ETC for unregulated companies and self-employed individuals engaged in a trade, vocation or profession. It came into effect on January 1. The non-refundable tax credit can be claimed when eligible companies or individuals are computing their net income tax liability. While the amount to be claimed should be equivalent to the total payroll deductions and contributions, it will be restricted to 30% of the tax chargeable on the company's or trader's income. To qualify, persons will have to file and pay their monthly payroll statutory deductions on time. The ETC is being introduced as part of the government's fiscal incentive regime and it should serve to encourage greater tax compliance and boost employment. As the Tourism Ministry continues its market diversification program, China is vigorously being pursued as the next region for an increase in visitor arrivals. Portfolio Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil says steps are being taken to improve the process for getting a Jamaican visa, which is the biggest impediment for Chinese nationals wishing to visit the island.
You have to go to Beijing to get a visa. And if you live in Shanghai, it is 4 or 6 hours to Beijing. So who is going to fly to Beijing to get a visa to go back to Shanghai to fly to a trip to Jamaica? And we are looking now at the Chinese visa and we have something in front of cabinet and we're hoping to put something out in the very near future about that.
The hope is to lift the visa restriction for the Chinese market, which will provide an opportunity for the Tourism Ministry to strongly promote Destination Jamaica within the Asian country. The Early Childhood Commission, ECC, has declared that it currently owes no statutory deductions for early childhood practitioners, as was recently reported in a newspaper. The ECC is an agency of the Ministry of Education. Chairman Professor Maureen Sams-Vaughan says the Commission does not hire or pay the salaries of early childhood practitioners and could not therefore be outstanding in the payment of statutory deductions. The ECC has just successfully met all 45 targets jointly set with the World Bank under the 2008-2013 Early Childhood Development Project. And finally, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, says there will be an intensified public education campaign in 2014 regarding the eating of crocodiles, which is illegal in Jamaica. Manager for the Ecosystems Management Branch of NEPA, Andrea Donaldson, gave some of the details on Tuesday during an interview with GIS News.
The intention is to have features on the radio, on the television, things in the press to talk about crocodile, to have town meetings to tell people about crocodiles, to get them to recognize that it's important to the system, it's important to them. People earn money from crocodiles as an ecotourism activity.
The penalty for capturing the animal, harming one, or having any part of the creature in one's possession, living or dead, is $100,000 and/or a prison term of up to 2 years. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Carrie-Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
It is important that as a nation we all buy into the common vision for a better Jamaica. That is, wanting to see our fellow Jamaicans achieving their fullest potential, having a safe and just society, a prosperous economy, and a healthy environment. All this is possible, so let us embrace and activate the plans of Vision 2030 Jamaica. Here is how we can achieve a natural and healthy environment.
Well, it's all about Jamaica.
Vision 2030 Jamaica, a plan for Jamaica developed by Jamaicans. The island's first strategic long-term national development plan with the aim of enabling our country to achieve developed country status by the year 2030. Making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families and do business requires the right mix of social, economic, governance and environmental factors. All four are intertwined. They depend on each other, and none can be fully achieved without the other. The first national goal involves empowering Jamaicans to achieve their fullest potential. It's tied to Goal 2, which speaks to Jamaica having a society that is secure, cohesive, and just. Both goals depend on Goal 3, which speaks to Jamaica having a prosperous economy. But none of these can be achieved without Goal 4, a healthy, natural environment.
When we achieve it, it will be worth it. A lot more benefits for each and every one.
By 2030, we want to ensure that we have a healthy natural environment. How are we going to get there? We have 3 national outcomes that we want to pursue or that we are pursuing.
The first national outcome under Goal 4 of Vision 2030 Jamaica is the sustainable management and use of Jamaica's environmental and natural resources. Achieving this involves including environmental issues in all economic and social policies, increasing public awareness, and developing, implementing, and enforcing environmental laws, standards, and codes of good practice. Hazard risk reduction and adaptation to climate change is another pillar of Goal number 4. To achieve this outcome, Jamaica will need to improve the design of settlements and facilities to withstand the impact of hazards and implement a comprehensive disaster management program, as well as measures to improve how we adapt to climate change. And the final plank of Goal 4 under Vision 2030 Jamaica is sustainable urban and rural development. This will demand promoting proper planning for land use and development, economic growth and development in rural areas, the design and development of environmentally sustainable communities, and safe, sanitary, affordable shelter for all Jamaicans.
where are we today? Under this particular goal, we have mixed progress.
Jamaica has faced some challenges in effectively managing its natural environment and resources, but in recent years there have been marked improvements in this area. The recently released State of the Environment report revealed an increased focus on improving environmental management in Jamaica. This has been achieved through the creation and enforcement of standards, policies and regulations, as well as heightened environmental monitoring and greater public awareness. Improvements were also made in key elements of biodiversity, including new fish sanctuaries and more prosecutions under the Wildlife Protection Act. The State of the Environment report also showed improvements in air and water quality. Waste management is also improving, with waste management and recycling programs leading to a reduction in the amount of waste generated per person in Jamaica. Policies are now being formulated to address hazardous, medical, electronic, and white wastes. To ensure that development is in line with the island's ecosystem, the government has begun to conduct natural resource valuations that will become part of the environmental impact assessment process. On the matter of challenges identified in the area of disaster risk reduction and climate change,
you're talking about knowledge and awareness raising. You're talking about the legislation that needs the legislative infrastructure that needs to be upgraded and enforced to ensure that people are not placed into very environmentally sensitive areas that leads to disaster scenarios.
Over the last 10 years, the government has made progress in raising awareness at the community and national levels on the ways in which we can reduce hazard impacts. On the legislative side, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, is carrying out a review of the disaster management legislation of 1993.
The new act is going to be more comprehensive and will reflect a greater relationship between the environment, planning, and hazards. So the NEPA acts, the environmental acts that are having to be looked at will certainly improve the whole spectrum of disaster risk management.
Weaknesses in the physical and spatial planning system, poor land use practices, squatting and rural-urban drift are all being addressed to enhance Jamaica's sustainable urban and rural development prospects. Many changes are on the horizon. Vision 2030 Jamaica proposes to create a dynamic system of spatial planning that will effectively support urban and rural development towards economic prosperity for all parishes.
The government's plan to really look at the local government reform process is a critical plank of addressing that urban-rural problem, so to speak. And so we have to get that right, because at the end of the day, the local authorities are really supposed to be that first point of managing the space, whether it is the urban space or the rural space, and really is to bring to board the whole nexus between environmental sustainability, disaster risk reduction, and sound development planning at the local level.
Even as Goal 4 is being monitored, implemented and evaluated, the importance of the various government ministries, departments and agencies, as well as the private sector and civil society, are crucial to the success of Vision 2030 Jamaica. Remember, we all have to do our part in ensuring that Jamaica has a healthy natural environment. Let us protect the island's flora and fauna and manage natural hazards while keeping our surroundings clean and free from pollution, as we continue on our journey to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
It's for each and everyone. We're going to show the world we are more than see and stand. Through Vision 2030 Jamaica plan.
Bamboo growers, companies involved in the manufacturing of bamboo products. Get registered with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. The BSJ is a member of the International Network for Bamboo and Rattan, and the government of Jamaica wants to develop a standard-led bamboo industry that could lead to job creation and economic growth. Companies, your products could be stamped with the regionally recognized Jamaica-made mark certification and the National Certification Mark. Get registered and receive quality training and international certification. For more information, call the Bureau's Special Projects Department at 926-3140. or visit the BSJ at 6 Winchester Road, Kingston 10.
The Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA's Economics Department, has been working with farmers to expand cottage industry ventures with a variety of goods made from produce of the field. These products can be found at the RADA Agri-Mart, a good place to start as we encourage you to support the Buy Jamaican, Eat Jamaican campaign. Take a look.
Women in rural and urban areas have been tapping into lucrative, value-added food markets. Utilizing the services of the Home Economics and Social Services Unit at RADA, they're processing and packaging excess fresh produce from the farms.
We go into the areas and whereas the extension officer would be helping the farmers to grow the crop, the Home Economics officer help in the utilization of the crop. So therefore, in terms of using things one way, when we teach persons to use things in a number of ways, we teach home economic skills.
We give them the skill so that they can do it the same way all the time, getting a consistent, good product, quality product that can compete with other products. So we help them with the technology, formulation, we help them to source suitable packaging material, and to help them to label the products.
Farming, man's earliest occupation, has proven to be one of the most important tools for alleviating poverty and advancing development. And with food processing added to the mix, the scope for employment and wealth creation is more certain. RADA has established the Agri-Mart store to support some 98 farming groups involved in small-scale food processing and cottage industry.
That's what we try to do, to help them to produce at a price that, would allow them to compete, because, that we have imports and we have big producers, but there's still a place for the smaller producers who, as you said, produce unique products.
This first Agri-Mart, located on Hope Road in St. Andrew, provides a wonderful opportunity to promote and market whatever members of RADA groups produce.
Our customer base is like householders, business people, residents in Oak Pass as one of the surroundings. We have a lot of those people. People traveling would come in and buy souvenirs, and just workers, a lot from the ministries.
One of the things about Agri-Mart is you not only find things from St. Andrew, it is RADA, so you will find things from all over the island. For instance, you have here a jelly, it comes from the hills of St. Andrew, it comes from Dallas. It's a pineapple jelly. And you have other things. This is from St. Thomas. It's a tamarind sauce that is made in St. Thomas. You have pickle here. We come as far as St. Mary. So when you go over through the Agri-Mart, you will find different items from across the island. This is our local pancake mix. It's made from cassava and it's produced from Twickenham in Twickenham cottages. And this is a RADA group. This is different from the regular pancake because it's made from cassava, so therefore it would have more nutrients, more beneficial to the body. And we are accompanied by syrups, the different syrups. We have 3 types. We have guava, apple, and mango. And the good thing about these syrup is we utilize what we grow, so therefore it's not flavor, it is the fruit itself that is used to make these syrups. Preservation is one of our main areas because you have to utilize what we have. So therefore, if there's a glut, we find ways in which we can utilize, so therefore persons don't lose out. So winemaking is a technique that we teach our ladies. As I said, jams and jellies, another method of preservation. This is also a means of generating income. And you can see here the packages are lovely. Packaging is important. This is guava. We have guava and tamarind here. And over there we have pepper jelly, we have tomato jelly, different means of
utilizing what we have. That's a key concept, utilizing what we have and eating what we grow. When you want a bit of Jamaica, the Agamat is one of the places you can come to because there's a bit of the old here.
There'll be a better tomorrow. 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 There'll be a day. There'll be a way. There'll come a time to sing a brand new song. There'll be a better tomorrow.
Overexposure to noise, dust and bad air quality is certain to have some negative effects on our health. To keep our environmental space healthy, modern technology has produced equipment that will monitor these and other areas of the environment and allow us to make conscious decisions for safe health. Here's a closer look.
The thick, black, acrid smoke rising from the tail end in front of you. The cloud of dust shooting up from the construction site across the road. The unseen particles in the air. Environmental pollutants that can lead to serious health problems. Over the years, a whole host of measures have been employed to reduce the risks, but still we are not out of the woods. But increasingly, technology is being applied to the problem, and the developments are encouraging.
People who are exposed to pollutants in the environment can have different types of reactions, depending on the level of exposure, like the time and duration.
So the effects of pollutants have prompted the government to draft new public health regulations. One particular piece of legislation in the works, targeting cigarette smoke, represents a major step forward in discouraging smoking in public places.
We must bear in mind that every health impact has a cost related. For some of them, studies will have to be done to determine the exact cost on each health outcome.
At Green Expo 2011, where the focus was on environmental protection and preservation, firms displayed the latest technology to help clear the air, literally. Air quality is important. And in an office setting where most of us spend the majority of our day, testing for balance in temperature and humidity is key. Emphasis should also be placed on detecting bacteria or fungi in the air that may lead to ailments.
The meter is able to analyze and log temperature, carbon dioxide, relative humidity, dew point, and carbon monoxide, all in real time. If the temperature is too high, people complain. If the temperature is too low, people complain. If humidity is too high, people tend to feel clammy, and so this can affect workers' performance in the office.
An acceptable indoor office temperature is anywhere from 22.8 degrees Celsius to 26.1 degrees Celsius, while relative humidity should be between 30 and 60%. The risk of carbon monoxide poisoning is a critical reason for the importance of air quality testing, especially in factories or power plants that give off fumes or smoke. Dry periods, construction sites, and newly built housing schemes all have one thing in common. They expose us to unwanted dust. Long-term or overexposure can lead to serious risks such as asthmatic conditions and damage to the lungs. And though the naked eye can't see the magnitude of our contact, dust meters are able to capture that information.
This machine in particular examines dust particles of 10 micrometers or less. A micrometer is 1/1000th of a millimeter, and at that size, particles are able to bypass the nose hairs and get into your lungs, which can cause long-term respiratory ailments. And data from this machine is particularly useful because it is a US EPA reference standard, so data from it can actually hold up in a court of law. How the ambient air sampler works is that there's a vacuum down here which sucks in air through these pores, and it is placed onto a filter, and we weigh this filter before use and after use and do a calculation based on a time-weighted average, which gives us a dust reading in milligrams per meter cubed. The more data we collect and the more accurate this data allows us to monitor our environment better and mitigate against negative environmental impacts.
We use technology to quicken in terms of our studies. Also, we find that employing technology improves our quality of work that we produce.
To mitigate against these exposures, people can wear protective gear where it is necessary. In our own homes and offices, we can mitigate against the amount of dust that would accumulate by having regular cleaning.
The greatest thing is to know. Being aware of what's in your air could save your lungs and keep you healthy.
I needed help to expand my business, but the banks only wanted to be up in my business. The high interest rates were killing my business. They're never really business with my business.
At the Exim Bank, we have your business needs covered. Our application process is easy, and we provide loans at competitive rates for the productive sector, from renewable energy projects and working capital to plant upgrades or expansion and export financing. Come in and talk to us today. The Exim Bank. On the road to success, you are going to want us in your business.
Prosperity, good health.
Once you have health, strength and long life and love Christ are the leading thing.
I want to see my brothers and sisters and all my family for the new year. And of course, I want my birthday present, the 8th of January.
Hope to achieve prosperity and anything that is good still.
I hope to get a job.
I want you to ask God to give me health and strength.
We've come to the end of the show, but the information continues to flow on our website, so visit us at www.jis.gov.jm. We also look forward to your comments on Twitter at JIS News or via email, jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same station. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Audrey Williams. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.